Okay. So this is Windy Meadow, a Roadwarden tale. Dev support. I think we'll do clean fonts. And I'm noticing there's like, before we even start the game, there's little notes about different parts of the town and the area. Ponds in our forest garden are rather dirty, but also essential for the well-being of the trees and wild animals. Collecting water from the soil, it's also here we catch frogs and occasionally birds. The hills hide the ruins of old settlements and quarries, but we rarely enter them. The open space is tempting for harpies, wild griffins, and eagles. I'm not sure if I should read all of these or if we should let it come naturally as we're playing the game, maybe. Let's do a new story. Would you like to play the tutorial? Yeah. Click the left mouse button. Pressing will also speed up the game. Usually the game gives you unlimited time to read, but not always. If you skip anything by accident, use the mouse wheel to roll back. Use the archive to reread the most recent text. You can find it in the menu. Press the right mouse button or escape to open it. In some cases, you'll need to make a choice tied to your character. You'll see an example now. The game won't move forward until you press an option with left mouse button. I think I've got it. Well done. Most people you talk to have their text aligned to the right side of the screen. The same goes for their portraits. Your character, on the other hand, will be presented on the left side of the screen. If you'd rather keep the entire text aligned to the left, blah, blah, blah. The listening characters have much darker portraits like here. Okay. My name just became yellow, so you can point at it with your mouse and see a short description of who I am. Nalia, once a famous mercenary and adventurer, she moved to Windy Meadow from this city. A year has passed, but so far, being away from home hasn't helped her bury her regrets. You can also point at other yellow words, like dragon bones. Coins used in the 10 cities, a major power set in the north. These small, hollow rings are made of real dragon bows. Maybe you want to learn more about Vates, my distant relative. I used to teach him how to handle a sword, and after spending years as a Roadwarden, he became the local priest. He's the person I should thank for dragging me to this boring village. Here's an example of a notification. Your mouse is pointing at the buttons. Using the left mouse button will press them instead of progressing the game, unless they're gray. Map. Whenever you visit a new place, the small animation will remind you to open the map. So we're here right now. Nalia's house was placed just outside of the walls, despite the advice of the council. It's the newest building in the village, and a rather opulent one. Menu, codex, and the tutorial is rather empty, but will soon contain descriptions, all the game's characters, and more. Just like the mouse wheel, the right button here rolls back the game, while the left one speeds it up. Can't skip parts of the game you haven't seen yet. Load and save, F1 to learn controls. Okay. Oh. Vina, the huntress. Last evening. Since when do you have this many patron stabs? Stabulous. He's full of ideas of silly meals and drinks, so I spend every evening at his inn, the Tasty Claw. Evolos says the place is nothing special when compared to the city's alehouses. Makes me wonder. The news of Vina's deeds have reached the city. The merchants want to hire her. Deeds? I don't recall. But I told you already, What a loud bunch. I think I'll take the bottle back home. What else is new, man? I feel like I missed a line there, but... No, okay. All right. It's been an hour since you joined the merchants at the table. Keeping your back straight for so long starts to wear on you, but you are told to only speak when spoken to. You observe the others, but you can't follow their prattle. Something about a missing ship from the Far East, and a new spice that everyone just needs to try, even though it's expensive as a sheep. They summarized how you defeated those trolls from last autumn right at the start, but since then they've pretty much been ignoring you. Do city folk treat all their employees this way? In Windy Meadow, all of your neighbors are friends, or at least friendly. Here there's a ravine between you and the rich folk. Ivolo. Sylvina, how's your beer? You cast a glance at your dad, who manages to stay in control as always. Why can't you be that confident? My dad's a hero, the best hunter in the realm, no matter what anyone says. I'd prefer some cider, to be frank. You couldn't say so sooner? You better learn how to speak for yourself before you reach the city. Baratus offers everything one may desire. Alehouses, mead, spices, music, acrobats, gambling, fancy clothes, bright nights. It's a different world. Don't encourage her. In Baratus, it's better to drink crappy beer than to insult a merchant. She's just being polite, Ivolo. Richest merchant to visit Windy Meadow. She leads caravans through the woods, fighting beasts with the magic of wind and light. She's offered me a job at the city. Who is this person? Lacerta. Our mayor keeps her calm, no matter what's going on. She's a good friend to my father, though they usually talk about trade and work, or their plans for the next season. She was raised in Windy Meadow, but spent over a decade in the city working as a clerk for the Merchant Guild. Your girl has potential, Latro. She follows in your footsteps. Kind words, but you'd struggle to find a hunter who could match her talent, and she's not even 20. Leading the trolls to the swamp was quite a plan. Our fable put together a song about her bravery. Ever since I started assisting my father, Fable and I have been drifting apart, but we used to spend a lot of time together as kids. He always had some scary or funny stories for us, and used to say he saw them in his dreams. Our Fable? He's grown quite comfortable with your new home. Maybe, in a way. Let's not jump ahead. Nothing's been decided yet. But it's a great opportunity. Don't you want to have a nest, darling? I feel good in Windy Meadow. She'll think about it after you tell us your offer. Argentia knows the details, but from what I've heard, the guild and Baratus can award Vina's talents generously. It's not that intricate. We can always find a job for a gifted warrior. What kind of job? You'd start as a guard at a store, maybe a warehouse, learn more about the city, then become my personal defender. Prove yourself, and once I get the chance, I'll whisper your name to the larger players. All you need is strength and ambition. Keep going the extra mile and you'll end up as a commander or overseeing our caravans and ships. You could work as a Roadwarden for a year or 5 too. A life of wealth and adventure, then quick retirement. Especially if you were to join the guild as an investor. As you can see, such a life has treated us fairly well. Don't tell me it's not a tempting opportunity. I don't know. Our mom is sick. Dad's our very last hunter. Victus needs my help with Inmera. And once autumn comes, the undead show up. What then? Master of crossbows and traps. It hurts me to see how her illness keeps her in bed. It's been 3 years already. She may never be strong enough to return to the wilderness. Victus, my older brother, never wanted to be a hunter, but the training he got from our parents allowed him to become a village guard. Now he's a Volo's defender, moving forward despite the troubles he's gone through. Victus's daughter, my niece, she's been asleep for a few months now. I used to love wandering around the wall with her, telling her about the woods. She looks so silly with my dagger in her small hands. Huh. We won't be left to ourselves. The merchants know our value. The soldiers from the city are a capable bunch. Your mom and I can rely on your brothers and sisters. I hate to think about checking the traps without your aid, but don't burn your future for our sake. Your mother wouldn't forgive herself. Listen to the others, little wolf. The right guides the brave. I'm glad that Dad finds comfort in his talks with priests, but I struggle to pray. Whenever I close my eyes, I think of Victus and Mara and Long. So, Argentia, you're going to visit again in 15 days, am I right, with the wedding supplies? Looks like it. I won't be traveling in this direction again until the end of summer. That's when I'll give you our final answer. Will you use a ferry boat or a cart? I have yet to decide. Just be sure to have space for a passenger, deal? I'll figure something out, like always, don't you worry. Day 1. Oh. Birds chirping. I'm a patient soul, but we're going to discuss your future sooner or later, pup. We're way out here now. Woods to the east turn dangerous quickly, and for the most part, only me and my dad have a reason to enter them. Recently, the lumberjacks have started to widen our clearings, letting in a bit more light. I need time to think, that's all. There's no rush. But there is. Taking Argentia's offer would take some planning. You'll need new clothes, a traveling chest, a blanket, and we should visit your cousins. That's another one-day trip. I'm sure your mother would sleep better knowing what to expect. I don't know what I want, that's the problem. You don't need to know to make a good choice. The knot you used here ain't right. Once you lose control of the spearhead, the beasts will break your neck in an instant. Just use the one I taught you, little wolf. I learned quite a few knots from Limos. They're easier to use. Nemos, before he started using nets, traps, and fishing rods to catch food in the rivers, he was using spears and bows to hunt for saurians and large fish. His zeal has been weakened ever since he lost his foot, but his new methods turned out to be more efficient anyway. Fishermen ain't real hunters. Don't put yourself in danger. I've been roaming these woods for 20 years. You could trust me, or at least consult me first. I don't like that knot. It's thick, takes too many steps. Bandits would cut it with a single swipe. Spears are for hunters, not soldiers. You want to face bandits, start training with a bow or a mace. You're too old for a sword anyway. I'm too tired to carry our prey now. Let's have a talk. What about the scavengers, the runners? Will catch the scent soon. And yet it's so quiet here. It may be spring, but we should have seen at least a few larger beasts by now. Oh, you want us to stay here for long? I've got plans for the evening. Do you now? Well, then I guess you're just too busy. But since I've caught your attention... Don't be like that, I always listen to you. Let's discuss what's going on. The trolls. When did they show up? First days of autumn. That's when old Salvia warned me that they never stopped their hunt. Old Salvia. She's a wise and selfless herbalist. Every 10 days, the village prepares gift baskets for her, and we sometimes bring her fresh meals as well. She may not be too kind, but she's irreplaceable. I hope... Is that an I? Eudysia? Does her best learning her craft. And can turn the land into a wasteland. I'm glad you remember. The way you took care of them was impressive, don't get me wrong, But now I've grown more and more convinced that even that was too late. They changed the forest already? Last year we used to simply leave the house and look for wild game. Now we're forced to set traps, use bait, look for rats and squirrels. At least there are more hares around. But the larger creatures were either caught or chased away by the trolls. Well, fewer beasts means more rats and birds, so fewer mushrooms, nuts, fruits, and flies. And Limos told me there's more fish in the stream. Everything connects. You know where I'm going with this. We can't hunt anymore. We'll lure beasts into the forest. Let them settle around. Yes, and give them as much space as they require. We might push some of them away from the fields, but that's it. For at least a year. The forest needs some time to breathe. But what about our forest garden? Should we open it to the predators? I had a talk with Eudycia. We'll limit ourselves to startling them instead of killing them. The garden is crucial for us, more important than any wild game. But we ain't some armed numbskulls. A good hunter can do many things, and Lacerta would allow us to join the guards for a few seasons. I won't spend my days sitting in the inn. So, we're gonna be fine? There's one more obstacle, but that's enough loitering around. Let's pull out our boar while it's still sunny. It's a tiresome task. The ropes are secured to one of the trees, stopping the boar from falling. To pull it out, you have to fight for every inch. Oh, wow. Holy shit, it's heavy. Language. Still, it's all muscle. A fine beast to end our current path with. What tastes good after smoking? I ain't sure. Boar meat can be treacherous. Now, let's pray. Of course. Praise be to the right for the years we've received, for the walls that guard us, for our strong limbs and sharp senses, and the gentle weather. We humbly welcome the tastes of your creation. Help us spread your meat wisely in our family, and among our friends, and help us sell the tusks and bones to the city folk. We'll share what you give us with Vates, your servant, to prove to you that we're ready to leave everything behind if such is your will. So be it. So be it. I wish I could pray as gracefully as the priests, shameful being a soul of simple words. Don't worry, it's about having an honest heart, right? I guess. But remember how my father started to forget words and names once his hair got gray, until he lost the gift of speech? Our family ought to squeeze out everything we can with each year we get. And before we head back home, take a look here. A smooth stick, with blood on its end. It's a spear. A goblin found a thin branch and sharpened it with a rock. After all, no undead would have a reason to attack a wild beast, and no other creature would yield a weapon in combat. So, we came here to stab the boar? Touch the blood, it's fresh. Goblins found the boar after it fell into the hole. They tried to jab it, but didn't stick around. The grass here is trampled, but I see no footprints. That could be slim from hunger, and that means desperate. I'm proud of you, little wolf. You'll do just fine in the city. But goblins are bad news. Best case scenario, they're going to keep our tribe away from the woods. But who can be sure they won't attack the farmers or snatch our kids over the wall? Let's head back and warn the workers, and this monster will fill up a whole wagon. We've got a long day ahead. The third, maybe the second largest game we've ever caught. Wonder how it got here. Good thing you didn't have to fight it. My youngest sister. People gossip about her antics, but when I'm with her, she's thoughtful and quiet. She wants to be a huntress, but for some reason, I'm the one she keeps asking for advice. She just should spend more time with our dad. We wouldn't attack it even if we got the chance. Not without old Salvia's blinding dust. But Dad used to fight such monsters when I was still little. Because Mom was at his side. She'd hit a charging beast right in the eye. She'll show you once she starts walking again. What's all this about a goblin tribe you found? Just the marks and footprints. Victus told me they're just big, cunning monkeys. To me, they're small, furry people on paws. Can they be lured into a trap? Or will you scare them away like you did with the trolls? Dad's got a plan. He knows what he's doing. Will you get rid of them before you leave us? Don't worry, I'll protect you. We'll find a way to get rid of them. I ain't afraid. I want to help you. The tribe's gonna stand together. We lack magic, but we're able to outsmart the trolls. We can handle some goblins. And I ain't gonna leave you. I'd visit you each spring. Always thought you'd be here to see me on my first hunt. The right doesn't ask us about our plans. Besides, I don't know what I think of the city. Part of me wants to stay here. Dad says you'll leave for sure. That there's nothing waiting for you here. Dad says many things, but the choice is mine. Goblins, gargoyles, dragons won't hide in the stronghold like some old lady, no matter what's coming for us. I'm a better fighter than most folks here. A spear woman. A spear girl, maybe. Still, it ain't your call. Dad or Lacerta will ask you once they need your help. But I'm ready to fight. I just need a chance to prove it. Be ready when the right moment comes. Don't argue with Dad, but keep your spear close and your eyes open. I will. I won't disappoint you. I know, you're very brave. I'm happy for you, you know? How come? You've got this offer, this job offer, and you're gonna be rich. I don't even know what I want. Being rich doesn't mean much to me, I think. But all the merchants say Baratus is a busy place, with soft beds, all sorts of food and drinks and colors, and loud streets, and all these bards and acrobats, and windy Meadow. It's always the same. Oats with milk, same cider, cold winters, no music, no young men to have a walk with. I'd like to have a taste of the city for a season or two, but spend years there? I don't know. Distant grass is always greener. Can't you take the job and bail after you get sick of it? Would be wrong. I don't want to quit unless necessary. Can't play with our tribe's good name. I don't want you to be bored, but, well, yeah, I'd miss you too. Wonder who this is. Press anywhere to continue. Day 2. Stronghold's a few decades old, but it's the safest spot in the village. It would take a dragon or a unicorn to get through its walls. Muffled voices reach you from inside. Parega. While my dad and I roam the woods, the city soldiers patrol our walls and look after the stronghold. Parega enjoys chatting with our neighbors. It's the first village she's ever visited. Darling, check what they want. Why me? Just open the door. I ain't a recruit. A guard. Born and raised in our village. She's a tough warrior, my favorite training partner. She doesn't like to admit that she helped me trick the trolls into leaving our woods. Maybe because she'd wet herself when one of them almost caught her. Still, she was by my side to the very end. Are you sure you want to argue with us after you just dropped your helmet into the river? Answer the bloody door before we cut your pay for the equipment you've borrowed from us. Brachus. While my dad and I roam the woods, city soldiers look after the stronghold. Ain't Brachus' first job, but he doesn't talk much about himself. Hello, gals. Something wrong? Not sure yet, but we should talk. Tell me you don't need me to look for that lost ring again. Our dad, we're here in Latro's name. He's examining the forest right now. Come, we've got time for you. Vina and Hostia, right? That's us. I expect the mayor has briefed you already? Only mentioned that we're to prepare the village for the furry shitheads. So, ever fought a tribe of goblins? Me? Not really. But there are lectures on all kinds of beasts in this city. It ain't like they're trolls, nothing to worry about. Unless there's 100 of them. They climb well, can get past the wall, and it won't be easy to hire a mage to help us. Let's think. We've got the 3 of us, and you, Vina, and your father. Would your brother join us? Sure he will. Victus is a bit busy, but he'll help us. Priest Vates, too. Maybe we could ask the lumberjacks? Our mayor allows the city workers to cut our trees. They need to do it slowly, otherwise they'll anger the beasts. You mean pay the lumberjacks? That's hardly enough, and I doubt we'd get much use from arming the rest of the village with spears. Have you learned anything about these goblins' weaknesses? I mean, we've got fire, if nothing else. Not much to go with, is it? Better prepare the stronghold for the elders and kids. Bringing beds and furs from storage is easy enough, but we'll need help with collecting water. Need help with collecting water and food. What about so much to discuss? Especially if we were to mobilize our neighbors. The mayor wouldn't skip on a few more shields, would she? We're in for a boring afternoon. Let's grab some chairs. Keep interrupting, little sister. Time passes. Finally, some fresh air. I'll leave the door open. Is it just me, or do you get bolder when the soldiers are around? Not that I've got a choice. They're not my best friends or anything, but they said I could join them once they head back to the city. They'd recommend me to their commander, I think they're called. Sounds like a big opportunity. Will you accept it? Nah, that's not for me. I won't leave my parents, and I ain't gonna get my belly torn apart in the middle of nowhere. As long as I've got my bowl full, I don't care about dragons. That's what we call the coins we use. We read that earlier. Though getting that notice was nice. I'm sure it was. Well, it's getting late. See you soon. Good luck. Are you going? Why even bring me with you if I've got nothing worth saying? Forgive me. Next time I'll give you the time to speak. Still here, Father's waiting for you. My sister is only a year younger than me, yet we're strangers. Lately she called me a... doesn't matter. But I think this time she meant it. I don't understand what the divide is. I don't understand what divides us. What's wrong? We're having family dinner. Victus is taking Admira to the city to look for a healer. So old Salvia can't help her? That's what Victus said. I'm sorry, pet. Any news about the goblins? Kind of, but let it go for now. We shouldn't burden Victus with this. So Dad found them. How many? At least 30. They've settled in a cave not that far from here. We're screwed. Uh-oh. What about you? No work today? Stavios can survive a few hours on his own. I need some rest anyway. I had to prepare the entire dinner. For you, too. What we're doing ain't easy. The better our plans, the safer we are. So heroic of you. Just saying it'd be helpful if you could get home today without me having to give you a ride in a wheelbarrow. So be it. So be it. So much fresh meat. Were we starving or what? This day deserves it. The boar was large enough to grant us a feast. and we'll share the leftovers with Relega, the farmer that lives next to us, together with Temnus. They're in debt to their city merchants ever since they lost their entire flock of sheep to a plague. Their daughters, Firma and Eudicia, can handle themselves, but Relega doesn't enter the village anymore, too embarrassed and shy. She often visits my mother, talking to her even if she's asleep. So we're out here. My parents sold all of their possessions to build a new house from bricks instead of wood or wattle. We keep placing traps around it, teaching beasts to stay away from this side of the village. I got us a bottle of spiced mead from Castus, too. Mita's husband may be the wealthiest farmer in the village, but welcomes everyone with a smile. He spends many evenings in Tasty Claw chatting with my father. Can I have some? Ain't it hilarious how Victus can simply decide to leave for the city once he sees he needs it, while Vina sits on the fence for half a season? You're too old for petty squabbles. Just saying, at least she was kind enough to join us instead of stuffing herself at the inn again. Let's just have a good time. I said, can I have some mead too? In 2 years, little wolf. Let's have a talk before we drink anything. Inmera needs help, but I can't leave you with the goblins lurking around the corner. What did old Salvia say? Can't she help us? Eudicia told me that both herbalists have run out of ideas. Soon, any shell won't be able to swallow food. And while I'm grateful for your prayers, I can no longer wait for a miracle. You should still go to Salvia for Eudi. Everything's dark and hopeless. I'm sure they discussed it together. And she's rude and weird. So, she's smart. Their cabin ain't far away from here. We could go there and have a little talk. Salvia knows what she's doing. If she believes that Eudi is ready for the duty of aiding our tribe, we'll respect her decision. Eudicia's my friend. And she's helped Mom a lot. Pup, you have your own set of responsibilities now. A child that's defenseless without you. And what about the monsters? It was all a false alarm. I got spooked by 5, maybe 8 hungry apes. We'll handle them, Vina and I. Finally, some good news. But are you sure you won't need my help? Help me by bringing back my granddaughter. When can you leave? Evola wants to hire the lumberjacks to escort us. If the right allows it, we'll hit the road tomorrow just before noon. Dad lied to him? But what if we need his help? Victus has got the right to decide what to do. Huh. Check out a few alehouses for me. Just ask your new mercenary friends. Myself, I'd rather visit the Grand Temple. We'll return soon, before the flowers fade away. I'll make a crowd for any. Don't I deserve a cute crowd too? Earn it by bringing me some sweets. Just eat a spoonful of honey. Boring. Wait, I heard something. Hi, Mom. She's awake. Great, you could say your goodbyes. I couldn't have helped for a better evening. I'd better head back to the inn. Most of the dishes are on you. Me? This entire mess? A huntress afraid of some dirt? Don't be a crybaby, it won't kill you. I'll go with you. Duh, what else is new? And what else would you want me to do? There's nothing fun around here. There's plenty of chores to help with, just nothing as easy as quaffing casks of cider. Keep the judgmental tone to yourself. Just saying. I hope the city will excite you enough before you finish your path as a drunk loser you really are. I ain't asking for your crumbs of wisdom. I spend my time how I want. You don't know me at all. Sure, because you're so complex, so brave, so talented, so special, yet a simpleton through and through. We'll see how many friends you keep once you lose an arm to a thug. You just love the sound of your own voice, huh? I guess I'll go ahead. Bye, girls. Alright. Hanging out with the older folks for a change? My friends are preparing for the worst. The goblins may come any day now. Does it happen often around here? Goblin attacks? Goblins or any other monsters. The trolls ate one of Arata's sheep not so long ago. A local farmer owns our tribe's last sheep and noble griffins. Her kids look after the pets of the rich city folk. She rarely visits the village. It's the safest village in this part of the province, protected by guards, rituals, and hunting traps. You'll get used to it. You just get spoiled by the tall city walls. Give it a few years and a limb or two and you'll feel at home. The woods are not too gentle for us nowadays, but how's the river? Any chance of a good catch I could use for soup? Don't expect any grand tales from me. The older I get, the fewer risks I take. It's all nets and fishing rods now, no spears or clubs or saurian bait. You try to pay attention for a while, but hearing the same old tale again makes your thoughts drift away towards... Oh. My spear is sharp, but I should check on my boot knife. I should be able to handle a few goblins, right? Dad knows what he's doing. While I'm here, Victus is preparing for his journey. But it was me who was meant to leave. Can't everything just slow down a bit? Seeing Dad act like that, to keep his son safe, I didn't know he had it in him. How often does he lie to me? Argentia left the village yesterday, but I can still catch a whiff of her plum perfume. Whenever she comes here, she looks like she owns the place. Confident, wealthy, gorgeous. Could I find all this in the city? Another loud day, and yet I'm forgetting it already. All these little changes are happening around me while I'm drifting along. Will I end up in this inn tomorrow and the day after that? Notice the others are looking at you. Huh? Her head is already resting on a cotton pillow all the way in the city. We were talking about the discussion we had with Yuri today. Someone as good as hunting as you would have no problem teaching Limos how to hold a spear rightly. He's a clumsy, lazy ass. Now you've got an issue with my ass? I'd never. I don't really think about hunting that much. It's a respectable trade, with a dose of responsibility attached to it. A duty, some would say, and you've got the talent for it. Maybe. Dad's been teaching me since I was a kid. I've got a strong shell, good for combat, and the sharp senses of my mom. But I feel more myself when I'm home, or with friends, or even here. Even here, have some mercy. What would you rather do? Could be a guard like Firma. She seems happy swinging her axe around. We've got a few rooms to spare too. If you fancy anyone here, you could start a family easily. Yeah. Lovely. Had no such choices to bother with back in my youth. Windy Meadow needed food and we ran out of things to forage for, so I started to chase after the meat from the rivers. And when I was a kid, my home village needed someone to fix tools for them. I played around till I got pretty good at it. No one really asked me if I liked it, but I very much did. How about you, Stabs? Why'd you leave the city's wealth behind? One can't run an inn there without joining the guild. I'd rather keep the coins my parents left me after breaking their backs at the building sites for 30 years, thank you. There's no monsters in the city, right? No wrath of the herds. The more threatened the animals feel, the more desperate they get. You can even join forces to strike down human settlements. Every few years, we hear stories of another tribe that was overrun by wild beasts, but it doesn't happen around here often. We're pretty close to the city walls. There are gargoyles from time to time, and the creatures underground. But I get what you mean. The truth is there's no air in Veritas. Every inch belongs to someone. Each item has its worth stated in writing. Any step you take is seen. Sure, there are no robbers, just a few pickpockets, but the officials leave you with hardly anything. You'd be close to the merchants, so you'd get a bit more space. Just be aware of the sacrifices. I guess if living in the city was pure delight, everyone would try to live there. Those fancy pants may act all high and mighty, but they need our hands more than they need their poems and elixirs. But we do need their soldiers and roads. Or even if we do, will our children need them? Our grandchildren? In one lifetime we've seen the plague and the southern invasion. I guess so. Changes in the wind. Yes, no path is really safe, is it? Oh. May the right guide your steps. Thanks, and your tribe. We're up here. Would that say the road to Veritas sticks close to the Pearl River and is somewhat well kept. In just a few hours, it takes you to the roadside inn that gathers news from all the neighboring tribes. Thanks, and your tribe. I was wondering where you were hiding. I'm getting old, the commotion wears on me. How did your goodbyes go? I'll miss our neighbors and you. Let's pray I get back before the leaves cover the roads. Chances are good. Can you get to the city in 2 days? 3, I'd say. It's noon already. You're taking a heavy pouch with you, so I'm sure you'll find a mage in no time. Who knows, maybe you'll be back in 10 days. Well, it's not impossible. Feed eating only once you make a stop. Take your time, don't let her choke. Seriously, I've been at her side long enough for you to trust me. And we do, but you never know which word you need to hear before you enter the woods. Any of them may save your life. A dangerous road ahead. Will you be alright? Ain't my first time on the road. Don't be dumb. The 100th trip is as dangerous as the first one. Wash your ears and mind the tree crowns. Stay away from hard drinks, especially at the roadside inns. And keep your eyes on the game. Fine, fine. But with our bags resting on the wagon, we'll save plenty of strength for the beasts. I trust in the right. Keep an eye on that pouch of yours. 10 people told me that newcomers are the juiciest bites for pickpockets. Yeah, I ain't looking forward to the inns, but I'll get in touch with Ivolo's family. They may have a room for me or some work that would allow me to stay in a safe haven. How are you going to get back? Will your crew join you? I doubt it. We'll likely get assigned to work right after we pass the city gates. Worst case scenario, I'll join a trading caravan and stick to the main road until I reach the nearest inn. From there, I'll hire a few mercenaries or a Roadwarden to escort us home. Just in case we brought you something. Oh? It used to belong to Nalia. Of course I recognize it. A sword. You're crazy. I can't accept it. It belongs to our family now. If you have to, sell it. But it's made of cold steel. How much did it cost? What matters is you can now sell it for a small fortune. Just don't swing it around the alehouse. We'll buy you a safe bed and the help of the best healer the province has to offer. If you want to pay us back, look for a few mercenaries at the inn. Pay them to protect our village. Maybe hire a spellcaster. Guess I don't have a choice. You're wasting time. Creatures of the night won't wait for you. That's exactly right. I pray for all of you. Tell Mom I love her. Come back safe and tell her yourself. Well, time for our patrol. East? I ain't sure we should enter the woods anymore. Let's set some traps by the western bank and secure our cabin. These goblins live by a creek, so I bet they'll try to overtake the river sooner or later. Right. When might they attack the farmers? They're hungry, so any moment now. We've got to take the initiative. Recently, Hastia's been all too excited about facing the goblins in combat. You shouldn't throw such ideas at her. She ain't ready. She needs more duties. She's almost an adult. Let her be responsible. She ain't like Lita or Victus. Your mother's illness pushed her deeper into her own thoughts, not into action. And we weren't there for her. If you force her to become someone she ain't, you'll hurt her. Have patience. I'll keep her safe. Don't worry about her. Don't take on more tasks than you can handle. I need you to protect all of us, and having Husty at your side would be a distraction. You want to prepare for a hunt, teach her how to dress a duck, or take her to Arata and help her hunt down the rats on the farm. What happened to you when you were her age was extraordinary. Be glad she has a year or two of childhood ahead of her. She's quick, she's nimble, she trains all the time. She ain't a warrior yet, Vina. Godwin's limbs are all muscle. You could tear her to pieces. Yeah, she could jump around them. But what then? Crush their skulls with a training stick? Think of the days when she refused to eat at all. It affected her shell. Give her time. She needs to heal. Don't you have as much as a shred of respect for my judgment? You ain't allowed to undermine my authority in front of your sister. Your mother and I are responsible for her. You want to direct another soul through their childhood? Start your own family. Let's focus on the day ahead. We can't control it, but we've got work to do. So now we want more beasts to reach our village? Never in my life did I think I'd witness such a day. Let's hope we'll see runners, deer, and stoats, not goblins. I ain't looking forward to werecats scratching at our door. We've got more hands to set up traps now. I guess I'd rather take cats than howlers. Let's not set too many traps. No pack of howlers will be as annoying as Victus on a diet. Or you when you catch a cold. He sends his love, by the way. Tell that pup to say it to my face. I did, Mom. I did. I'm glad to hear that you and Latro see eye to eye. These are difficult days. Yeah, kind of. He keeps saying I should take that job offer. I'm well aware. He asked me if he's getting too obnoxious. The great monster slayer doesn't have all the answers? What a day. Be gentle. Being the sole parent is harsh on him, and he hates to admit his shortcomings. As a kid, he wasn't allowed to make mistakes. Over and over again, people told him how he ought to be a hero. Now I can't make any mistakes myself. It's not your fault. You and your dad fight the same sickness. The curse of doubt, of expectations. But you're not on your own, like I've always said. I know, a strong tribe is a united tribe. I'm glad the tales of your elders have stuck with you. Don't call yourself that. You don't even have wrinkles, unlike Dad. Such youth. All I've got left are long naps and brief hours when I have the strength to speak. If my condition doesn't finish me off, boredom will. We may still find a cure. I'm sorry. Didn't want to sound so grim. You and your sisters are a gift. I never met my mother, and I wish I could have been by your side. But you're brave beyond belief. The right has truly blessed us. Come on, don't make me blush. I'm just happy, that's all. What's wrong? It's been a rough few days, that's all. Because you can't enter the woods anymore? Or do you mean the goblins? I want to go, but I don't want to leave. You spoke with that merchant, right? Did she rub you the wrong way? Argentia's fine, full of herself, but that's not unlike all the other rich folk. Dad acts as if taking this job is the easiest thing in the world. He says you've got no reason to refuse, but there are plenty, such as all of you guys, my friends, and Tasty Claw in our forests. Of course, pup. Leaving the village wasn't easy either. It brought its share of pain. I loved my tribe. What made you leave? I craved the change, to meet so many people, live just next to a wide river, sell my pelts and tusks to the city folk, and get to taste wine. And above all else, I wanted to be with your father. I have so many memories, all of them tied to our home. How could it be different if you've never traveled? You'd be surprised how adaptable humans are, even though we're so afraid of the unknown. Not so long ago I faced trolls, and now I've got goblins in a cave. What's gonna come next? You don't have to stay to help us. You could whisper in the merchant's ears or convince the officials to send another few soldiers. I've got no idea what to do in this city. It has so many people. I'd feel lost and alone. Your boss would help you. The city folk know how to handle newcomers. Just make sure to ask your neighbors how to recognize swindlers. They're the real predators of the city, not the gargoyles. Sounds as if you want me to leave. Excuse me? I said no such thing. Then I don't get it. What are you saying? You're free, Vina. I don't want you to listen to your parents. The choice you're gonna make needs to be your own. Leaving will weaken what ties you to this place. Some days you won't think about us at all. But if you stay, you may never touch the life you've dreamed of. A mournful fate all the same. And who could say your choice will make any difference? Stay here and you may die in a fire or from plague. Or maybe you'll get an even better offer in a year. Or we'll find a treasure in the lake. Leave and you may die on the road at the hands of the undead, or get robbed in an alehouse, or lose your job after just a few days and return to us with lips rotten from resentment. We make choices and deal with their consequences. Our moments of bliss and pain are often undeserved. Most of the time, we ain't in control. Don't look for the right path, or your own path. Chasing after one's dreams is reserved for a mere handful, but the lives of everyone else are just as valuable. A starving orphan will seek their next meal, not happiness. Would you look down on them because of that? My greatest joy is that you have a choice, but no one can point your life in the right direction. There ain't one, and you won't avoid suffering. My remaining days will be little more than staying grateful for the good life I've had and for sharing my misfortunes with the love of my life. Your shell is strong and young, and your soul is kind. You now only need to sharpen your will. This babbling makes me hungry. The bread is different, but I like it. Lita got a few tips from Stabulus. Didn't ask her for the details. One thing I don't long for is cooking. Having you girls in the kitchen is truly a blessing. Should I mention the last time you tried to whip cream on your own? No reason to remind us of such a traumatic event, little wolf. Alright, now we're ready. I don't know, it doesn't feel that safe. I didn't see any light or burned wood at the goblin camp. I bet 10 dinners they won't set this cabin on fire. Let's put trust in these walls. Because now we're out here. The cabin is older than me. It smells like it. It used to be a shelter for travelers and hunters, but now it's used only by the foragers who find themselves caught in a surprise rainfall. All we've got to do is wait for the tribe to get into range of our spears. These gaps and windows are perfect. I'd rather have the guards with us. Our scents could scare them away and would mask the bait of the raw meat. I don't have more blood and slices to scatter around the woods. We can't kill all of them on our own. Obviously. Let's just wound some of the smaller ones and throw a few torches at the larger beast. They'll run into the river to put out the fire, and we'll know not to approach the humans around here. Should I light up more torches then? Let's avoid unnecessary smoke and fire. So all we can do is sit still and wait. The joyful life of a hunter. Damn, this straw is soaked. No wonder it smells so bad. Yeah, it's more of a dump than a shelter. We should rebuild it next spring. We can still cut any trees in the east without angering the herds. The lumberjacks have left quite a clearing. Ah, good point. So I was noticing that they've got a bunch of downed trees. Couldn't you have skipped sprinkling yourself with the lilac oils today? The trap would work better if we were odorless. You said we might come here. I was ready to spend time with my friends, just in case. Maybe learn how to drink cider without sniffing each other. Now you've made the goblins' lives easier. Don't they rely more on their eyes than their noses? Let's not follow Dahlia's advice so blindly. She's an old drunk. Listen to your elders. I've heard that countless times. And Nalia's a famous adventurer. Her path has clearly led her to a dark place. Who knows if her wits are still with her? Next time be more specific. You know I use lilac oils all the time. And soap rather than ash. You want me to stay away from them for a few days? Tell me so. I could use help with organizing things around here. Some planning on your side wouldn't hurt. Well, whatever. I can't predict every situation. We're taking risks, and I'll make a mistake sooner or later. Deal with it. Yeah, I guess. Doesn't mean you have to tempt fate, pup. I can't be perfect at my job. All I can do is promise that I'll try to do better, but show me some patience. Fine. I guess that's all I can ask for. The stench of our bait is strong. It's a safe bet that blood will be shed tonight. Are you afraid? Yes. Of course, but I'm trying to ignore it. When I was a young hunter, I used to say my goodbyes to people I loved every other day, but then I stopped. I simply treat it as any other type of work. It's more dangerous, sure, but accidents can befall anyone. That's fair. So how strong can a goblin get? Enough to burst in? About as strong as a human, I reckon. So they could make a hole in that thatch above us. They're too dumb for that. Are you sure? Sure enough to risk it. Did Lita pack us anything? I can spread a bit of honey on some slices of bread, if you've got the stomach to eat right next to that rotting pile of meat. I've eaten raw snakes and ravens, I'll manage. Uh-oh. Dad? Well, they've got weapons. Right. Ready. The right's breath be with us. Oh, what's happening now? Whoa! Huh. Got him. Is that? Did we win? Why aren't they running to the river? Wait. They're scattering over the shrubs. Are they gonna burn down the forest? What have I done? Uh-oh. It's spreading everywhere. Run to the village, wake up everyone you can. I need to rescue Salvia. Be careful, stay away from the beasts. Oh man. Wow. Save. I think that might be a good stopping point for the moment for this. I was very curious what that goblin fight would look like. And I think we're about halfway through this first thing. If it's going by days, I think we had 10 days. Oh, and then you got codex information for all the characters and stuff like that. Cool. Yeah, we'll have to check out more of this. Let's see. Oh, can I hard save like this? Okay, there we go. Quick save. Okay, I see. Okay, cool. Meadow Roadwarden tale. Interactive slice of life visual